local culture, local events, your community. This is the Joe Kelly Show.
Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. We're at the Utica Fire Department Training Academy, the old Station 6 on Bleecker Street between Bacon and Wetmore. We're going to be talking about the anniversary celebration of the Utica Fire Department. We're going to be talking about the Training Academy, and we'll talk about the history of the Utica Fire Department. We've got some good guests to do that as well. We're going to be talking to Deputy Chief John Kelly. We're going to be talking to retired Deputy Chief Peter Caruso, and we'll be talking to the historian of the Utica Fire Department, Frank Tomaino. But we're going to start off with Deputy Chief Kelly. He's got one E in Kelly.
One E.
Somebody told me once that if there were two E's, you were the horse thieves back in Ireland. So
makes sense.
Thanks for having us come in, Chief.
Absolutely.
We are sitting in front of an antique, and if I remember my history correctly, this was once up at Utica National Insurance Company, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was originally Steamer 2, which was delivered in 1906, and it ran out of the Central Firehouse on Elizabeth Street from 1911 until the department was motorized in 1917. It sat in the Abe Nathan junkyard about in the 30s. They scrapped it, and it sat there till around 1973 when they were planning the centennial celebration of the fire department. And Abe Nathan and Son donated it to the Utica firefighters. They restored it, and they had it on display for the 1974 centennial celebration. And over the years, it was stored at Station 7 at Oneida Square on Park Ave. And it kind of fell into a little bit of disrepair. And Utica National took it from the firefighters, fully restored it. They had it on display. Made some appearances here and there. And then for a long time, it was on display at their downtown location. Right. When the hospital took over and Utica National moved their downtown operations back to New Hartford, the steamer was on display in the lobby, and it was just kind of sitting there. So we reached out to Utica National and the MVHS, and they indicated that they would be happy for us to have it back. And we were very happy to oblige. Yeah. We arranged for it to be returned to the fire department and a permanent display here at the Fire Academy.
I have to mention that I'm looking behind me and I see some familiar people on this photograph. Was it Deputy Chief Dooley?
Yep, Deputy Chief Jack Dooley.
Yeah, and I knew Jack, and that's Vin Carew, and that's Chief Lennon, correct?
Yep, Assistant Chief William Lennon, yep.
Yeah. Let's talk about the celebration, 150 years, 1874 to 2024.
Yes.
What have you got? I know you've started your planning a while ago. What do you got planned for the year? What do you got planned for 2024?
So we've got an exciting year. We did start planning this about 3 years ago. Myself and the fire chief came together, and we kind of brainstormed, and we said, let's do this right. You know, we owe it to the members of the past and the present and the future firefighters. So we decided we're going to do another commemorative book. That was the big item. They did a book for the 100-year celebration in 1974, and we're wrapping up the sesquicentennial history book as we speak. It should be ready hopefully to be published and out by the beginning of 2024. That's our goal.
Are you somewhere? Somebody told me, or I read, that you're looking for pictures. Are you still looking for pictures? Or is that all done?
Well, to be included in the sesquicentennial history book, we're done with that. We were able to accumulate over 2,600 pictures over the 150-year span of the fire department. So we had a tremendous amount of photographs. Some of them never before seen, never before published. So we're pretty excited about that. But yes, we're always looking for any type of photographs. One of our goals is to bring our history back. So much of our history's been lost to damage thieves, collectors, put in people's attics. Retirees took stuff home, and family doesn't know what to do with them once they've passed. So one of our big things is we would like to really reach out in the next year and bring as much history as we can back, memorabilia, mementos, and we're going to have a place in the Fire Academy dedicated to preserving that. It's not going to disappear. It's not going to go in the basement of a firehouse. We're going to have a permanent display here for hopefully a nice collection.
I noted, very happily noted, that you've got a portrait of Father Looney in the next bay. And yes. He was the fire department chaplain, I forget what years, but a very active chaplain.
Yeah, extremely. He was actually a firefighting chaplain. He would don his protective gear and put on a SCBA and get inside and fight fires with the men and women. He
went into that fire on Broad Street, GE fire, right?
He did, yes, yes, in 1981.
Yeah.
I believe he was actually on the roof with the members of Truck 3. And they were all enveloped in a weird smoke, and I believe all 4 of them died of esophageal cancer within 5 years.
Yeah. All the former chiefs, I don't know how many former chiefs there have been, but do you have pictures of all of them?
We do. We do. We have actually very nice pictures of all of them. They're on display in the fire chief's office now, and they will be featured in the new book.
What about your, I don't know what you would call a deputy chief and those chiefs? Do you have those as well?
We have a lot of pictures from the assistant chiefs and the deputy chiefs from the past, up until about 1974, and then we haven't been able to find them since then. We have some, but we don't have an entire collection. But we'd love to. If anyone has those photos out there, we would love them.
So if somebody has photos or some memorabilia that they'd like to donate for the display that's going to be down here, who would they call?
They could call the fire chief's office at 315-792-0264, and we'll get the message, or they can use email, ufdhistory@gmail.com.
And you've got that Facebook page up and running, right?
We do. We have a Facebook page. It's very active. We've got a lot of followers, and we try to post as many historical events and fires as we can find. And yes, people can reach out through the Facebook page. You can message us on that.
Okay.
And we'll be in touch, and we'll accept anything that anyone's willing to give us.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And we'll be right back. We'll be talking with Peter Caruso, retired Deputy Chief. Short break, right back. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. We're joined by the aforementioned retired Deputy Chief Peter Caruso. You look good enough to still be on the job, Chief.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that.
Yeah. How many years did you put in?
I put in 35.
And you've been retired for how long?
For 11.
Yeah.
Miss
it?
Yeah, very much. I'd still be here if things went a little differently back in 2012.
We're in the training academy. And when you were on the job, you were in charge of training, were you not?
I was director of training, that's correct. And the director of the academy. I was chief of training. This was an incipient stage here. It was just a building.
Yeah.
And we got a regional academy. And through the years, we made relationships with MVCC, with the Office of Fire Prevention and Control. And we really had a great program. This was residential, by the way. The recruits stayed right upstairs.
And there are bedrooms upstairs.
Correct. The dormitories are upstairs, and we felt that gave the recruits a real firehouse experience, and they seemed to appreciate that.
And as I mentioned at the top of the show, this was the old Station 6, and then, if I recall my history correctly, it became the Utica City Sign Shop, did it not?
It was, yeah, it was, when I came on, it was 6-engine, used to house 6-engine and 3-truck, and when I came on, it was 6-engine only, and the light department was in the back, the linemen, as we referred to them as. They took care of street lights. At one time, they took care of the telegraph system. That's how far back they went.
And now in this building, you've got a lot of physical training equipment.
Correct.
Are you trying to get those recruits up to a certain level to pass a physical test?
There is a physical test that they need. It's mandatory that they have to pass their CPAT test. We have a physical fitness director as part of the staff here at the academy, and they train from day one. And when they're ready to graduate, they are ready to take that test, and they do. Our physical fitness director does a great job.
And we've got upstairs classrooms, so there's the written test that they have to pass.
Oh yeah, there's firefighter certifications, 1, 2. More of the training now, more of the classroom is done at Mohawk Valley Community College, and here are some specialized classes.
How many departments around the state come in here and take advantage of this?
Oh, when I was here, I can remember, I don't want to say every department, but the larger departments take care of themselves, but we've had members from Rochester, we've had members from all over. Sometimes our academy worked, that they put recruits on and didn't have time to set up an academy, so they sent them here. And it worked out well for everybody.
I see you've got your celebration, 150th anniversary celebration shirt on, and it's got the patch on there. Who designed that, Chief?
This was actually done by a few of our young firefighters. They collaborated and brought it to the committee. The committee liked it. They accepted it, and we've gone forward with that. That's the 150th anniversary. We also have the Utica Fire Department Historical Society, which I'm happy to say that you're a member. You're also one of our board of directors, and we've started, this is probably the 18th, 19th month we've been doing this. And it's a lot of work, but everybody enjoys it. Yeah,
and it does have a rich history, this department. We're going to talk about that some more with Frank Tomaino when he comes on. The celebration, you were talking to me on the break, and you were saying we got the date wrong for that dinner.
It's June 1st, 2024, at the Hotel Utica. That's what we're slated to be our celebration night. So
is that going to be open to the public?
Yes, I was sure everybody's welcome.
And the parade, you got to be excited about that.
The parade is great. That we got help from the Veterans Center with Sergeant Scalisi, really helped out in that. Logistically, it's very difficult. I mean, parade looks nice and it looks really easy, but it's not.
No.
And there was no way for us to have another parade in the city of Utica. So he was gracious enough to invite us.
Yeah.
So hopefully we make it a nicer parade, and we get shine a little light on the firefighters.
And the equipment, Deputy Chief Kelly was saying you're going to have all your rigs in that. Huh?
That's his intention between him and the chief. That's what they intend. I'm sure they're going to extend invitations to other departments, and hopefully we can get our bulk of our membership to march. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to have those retirees.
Absolutely, that'll be heartwarming to see all the retirees in the parade.
Did we skip anything that's going to be involved with that celebration? Should we mention anything else?
No, I don't think so. John talked about the sesquicentennial book. We have some merchandise that hopefully we're going forward with. So everything on the Facebook page. You can contact us. Just go to the Facebook page. We have over 1,000 followers, which I think is great. But Everything is right on that Facebook page.
And I was on that Facebook page the other day. You've got a lot of great photos on there.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. And there's really some nice articles that were written by someone who is really good to the Utica Fire Department and its members, and it's Joe Kelly.
Oh,
you had some great articles for us,
yeah,
positive articles for us when we needed it.
I remember back in those days, boy, those were, I was up at Oneida Square once and I did a ride-along with Lynn Cross and I think it was Mike Elephant. Those were good days.
Oh yeah, you're busy. Yeah, you're busy.
And what about these days? It's got to be a busy department today. You don't have as many people.
Nowhere near enough people. But at the advent of the ambulance service and the EMS service, those, and I call them kids, and I don't mean to, those young firefighters at Oneida Square are out. That station is empty all the time. They're working every hour of every day, and they work hard, and they're very good at it. They are very good technicians of the emergency medical service. They're paramedics, and their heart and soul is in it, and that's where everybody starts.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, because I'm old enough to remember, back in the day when you came on, there was nothing like this.
No, we started it. I was one of the ground floor people. We got together in 1978, and a bunch of us on our own time, I might add. We went to school. We got our certificates, and we were, I think, as high as we could go at that time was like EMT2, and we were able to start IVs, which that was pretty advanced back then. But we found a vehicle that we can respond in, and away we went. If we could help you, we're going to help you.
I'm trying to think while you were talking, I was trying to think when I did the ride-along with Lynn Cross and Mike Elephant, there was a call down in Briarcliff Ave, which is the last street in the city of Utica.
North Utica.
Before you, off of Herkimer Road, before you cross into Herkimer County. I wish I got to find that article because the quickness of getting down there was just incredible, just incredible. And it was a young boy, I think, had swallowed some pills or something. And the response times here in Utica.
It's quite a long ride. You have 5-engine, which I'm sure was there waiting for you. But that's a long ride. That's one of the longest, if not the longest ride from Oneida Square to the city line in the north. It's not easy getting around.
Do you keep track of the response, or does the department keep track of
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. They file the statistics yearly. Firehouse Magazine does statistics, and we were always up towards the top. I'm sure they're at 15,000 responses a year or better now. But Chief Kelly could give you that exactly.
Yeah. All right. Good luck with that celebration.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything. Thank you for having us on.
Oh, you're welcome. We're going to come back now and talk to Frank Tomaino about some history.
Thank you. That would be great.
All right. Short break. Right back. We'll be back with Frank Tomaino. Short break. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Our go-to history guy is with us, Frank Tomaino. We always ask Frank in when we talk about local history. And first of all, thanks for coming in, Frank.
Yep.
And what a great history Utica Fire Department has. It really goes back even farther than 150 years.
Right. They're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the paid fire department. But the history of the department goes back to, Utica is 225 years old this year. And it goes right back to 1798 when Utica became a village. Part of the charter was they were concerned about fires. to have a volunteer fire department. And at that time, there were about 50 houses, all wooden, around the back square area. And they formed a volunteer fire department. And it was a volunteer fire department until 1874, when it became a paid department. So the history of the department, goes way back to the beginning.
Yeah. There in the other bay, there is a pumper, I guess it is, right?
Pumper, yeah,
Yeah,
the old tub, yeah.
It's even older than this.
Well, I think it's one of the oldest pieces of fire apparatus in the country. It's really dates back to about 1800. Utica bought it, I believe, in the 1820s from New York City, the New York City department, and they had it for quite a few years, and then it was given to the Sequoit Volunteer Fire Department, and then it was given back to Utica, and it ended up at the Oneida County Historical Society, now the History Center, when the society was on Park Ave, Elizabeth,
Yeah.
and John. And I remember as a kid going in there, I know you went in there as a kid,
Yeah.
Seeing that, that pumper. And it's called the Fulton pumper after Robert Fulton, who invented the first steamboat, So anyway,
They call it the tub, Frank?
the what?
Tub? They call it the tub?
That was a nickname, the tub, yeah.
Yeah, T-U-B.
TUB.
Yeah.
And finally, when the Historical Society had to move, what do you do with it? The Utica National Insurance Company, Utica Mutual at that time, got it. And for years it was in the lobby in New Hartford.
I remember that, yeah.
Then later, when Utica Mutual had an office on Lafayette Street across from Hotel Utica, it was in the lobby there for a while. And now it's over here. And of course, this piece of equipment was, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
This thing weighs over 4 tons, and it was pulled by horses.
Yeah.
It wasn't motorized. And this is I wish it could be in a place where the public,
Yeah.
more of the public could see it. Yeah.
Do you remember there's a classic photo? I've seen it many times over the years. I think it's, they're coming out of Central Fire Station on Elizabeth Street, which is now used for offices, county offices, I think. And the horses stumbled.
Well, it
You
was
know
on
that-
Genesee Street,
Genesee Street.
and it was a test run. There were 3 horses pulling it. It was being photographed. The middle horse collapsed, and they took a picture of that. But then the horse got up, wasn't hurt, and it continued on its way. But the photograph is, they caught it just as the horse
Yeah.
was falling, yeah.
I-
But it was this piece of equipment, yeah.
Were the horses pulling
I'm
this?
almost sure this was it, yeah.
Yeah. Frank, you wrote the deputy chief, both of them mentioned the book that's coming out for this
Well, I
anniversary. You
I wrote the
a foreword,
foreword.
yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you write?
Well, a bit about what's in the book, although usually you write the foreword when the book is completed, and
Yeah.
the book hasn't been completed yet. But I wrote you can expect, and the main thing, how the fire department has changed over the years. Now, they do more than fight fires. It's an emergency medical response
Yeah.
operation. They own 6 ambulances. So I wrote a little bit how the department has changed since 1974 when they celebrated the centennial. A lot of things, they're part of the arson strike force, and the firefighters have to be paramedics. I think they have 3 years to be paramedics. They all have to be EMTs, emergency medical technicians. So the department has changed. So my foreword, I wrote about how the department has changed and why it's changed. So, and what's going to be included in the book. A lot of great photographs. And I list, the editors and really, I don't know if they mentioned it, but, they formed a Utica Fire Department Historical Society. And it's really the society's first big project is the book. So a lot of interesting things to write about.
You know, I was happy to hear Deputy Chief Kelly mention that they've got pictures of every fire chief. That's pretty good.
Yeah, including the first fire chief was Wesley Dimbleby, and it's really interesting. Again, Utica had a volunteer fire department, and they were not going to have a paid department, but Wesley Dimbleby, who was a Civil War veteran, was the first chief and chief of the volunteers, and the volunteers loved him. Well, in 1874, the Common Council decided to hire a new chief, which angered the volunteers, and they quit. So Utica didn't have a fire department for a couple of weeks. And of course, property owners were concerned, and they wrote to the state legislature, who formed a fire commission, and that fire commission decided it's time we had a paid department. The city's big now, you can't just depend on volunteers. So it's a lot of interesting history.
You know, when I have you on, Frank, I neglect many times to give you a proper introduction, feeling that everybody knows who you are. But for many years, you were city editor of the Observer-Dispatch. Over those years, what big fires do you recall, Frank?
Oh, boy, there was a lot of big fires, even before I was city editor. The one I remember, St. Agnes Church, when it burned. I remember it was February 1st, 30 below zero.
Yeah.
I think a dozen firefighters had frostbite, taken to the hospital. There were the Lower Genesee Street, which maybe you've seen that picture. That too was 30 below zero.
Yep.
You know, ice and
Everything
fire
ice,
all over
yeah.
the place. But Utica had so many. The Kellogg lumber fire.
Up on Kemble Street?
Yeah. There were so many.
There was one that I remember, Frank, on Broad Street, 4-alarm fire.
On Broad.
Yeah, and then the GE fire that we talked
Well, there was
about.
a knitting mill, McLaughlin's knitting mill on Broad Street. That was a big fire. Yeah.
And then in modern days, the one that comes to my mind, I was still at the OD, I forget what year it was, but the Cannatina.
Oh, the Cannatina Apartments across from the Oveston.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a major fire.
yeah.
Yeah, you had, I don't know, 75, 80 apartments there. Yeah, so that was a big fire. Yeah,
Thanks for coming in, I appreciate it.
my pleasure.
And I appreciate you, and thanks for being with us for this half hour. We'll be back next week. We'll do it all again. Don't forget cnyhomepage.com. There's lots of good stuff there. Until next time, take care of yourself, everybody.